Welcome to the Death to the Org Chart podcast with Jeffrey DeMure, your guide to entrepreneurial freedom. Today, we'll be exploring Maslow's hierarchy of entrepreneurial needs, and we hope you enjoy the conversation.
Maslow's hierarchy of entrepreneurial leadership. Hello, friends. I want to talk today about how you should be advancing as a leader. I want to encourage you that a lot of the things that we've talked about, defining and sourcing and building teams that can do the lower level things within your organization so that your organization can continue to grow, so that you can do the kinds of things that you need to do as a leader. But you're also going to need to bring other people into that vision part that represents the value proposition for your organization and the reason that you exist. That's what your vision is all about. That's what your unique value proposition within your organization is all about. You've heard me talk about this statistic before. Within 5 years, 50% of all businesses in America fail. Another 50% fail in the next 5 years. That's a lot of businesses that aren't in business after 10 years. Why do you think that is? Well, when we start our businesses as leaders, we're pretty excited. We're pretty enthusiastic about what we have and how we can bring it to the market as goods or services, sometimes both. We've got what we think is a big bucket of great ideas and vision, and we probably do. But you know what? After about 1 to 3 years, that bucket starts getting pretty empty. So then what? How do we sustain our businesses, our organizations, so that we can be successful and create a legacy? Well, I've got news for you. It's not all about you. It's not all about me. It's about the people that are part of our entrepreneurial operations and organization. That means people on the front stage that are out there representing us, and a lot of times, a lot of cases, that's us. And people on the backstage that are helping pull those things together so that they can be sold or brought to the front stage. That's the backstage and the front stage hemispheres within our organizations. One is what the public sees, that's the front stage. The backstage, the public doesn't see. But they want us to do that stuff well, on time, on budget, and basically defect-free. That's the goal of the front stage and the backstage. The front stage is where value is created. And having that value statement, that unique value proposition to be able to bring to the market is really important. Where else is that really important? It's important within our organizations. As entrepreneurs, we can sometimes get so far ahead of where the rest of our organization is, they never have benefit of understanding why we're trying to do what we're trying to do as leaders of an entrepreneurial organization. What does this mean? The communication mechanisms that we use in order to bring the right information to the entire group, it not only informs them and it helps them understand where we're going, but it also helps them do the one thing that can help your bucket not run dry. That's to provide inspiration. If we let them, if we give them permission, if we create small situations where this information, these ideas, this inspiration is brought forth, it's easy to run dry as an entrepreneur and as a leader. And I've made the mistake early on when I thought I had to be the one that knew everything and that created everything. Can I tell you? That's exhausting. And it is a recipe for disaster. I decided that I didn't want to work like that 60, 70, 80 hours a week anymore. So in order to do that, I had to be willing to bring more people into my world and into my creative process so that they could develop those creative processes for themselves, so that they knew that they had permission not to do something goofy, although as entrepreneurs, we've done goofy things, floating houses in my case, right? And I had a business partner who wanted to put solar panels on the side of runways. Gee, what could happen with that? But that's okay, because they say that there's no bad idea in a brainstorming session. Okay. As entrepreneurs, we can be like, are you kidding me? What that does is it throws a wet blanket on any future inspiration that might come from your group. So having a brainstorming session where you welcome all ideas doesn't mean you have to take them all. It just means that you have to take it in. And what it does is it begins to free up people's process, because when they're working on something on the backstage or on the front stage, they can be thinking about, this could be the next new thing for us. And so that's the significance that empowering our teams to look for solutions and creative new ideas for what we do. That's why it's so important. It's a really difficult thing to give up after the first few years in business as a leader, because you're responsible for everything. There comes a time when you have to realize you need to go to another level. And in order to go to another level, you have to allow other people to do the things that you did, which is make mistakes, which is to not get things right all the time, and give them the grace to be able to make those mistakes so that they can learn, so that they can step up into another rung on Maslow's theory of hierarchy within an organization. If you're always worried about one thing as a leader and you're not going to allow someone else to do that one thing, then you're not going to be free to do the things that you want to do. And as we've talked about before, Dan Sullivan has identified the 4 freedoms of an entrepreneur are time, money, relationships, and purpose. Those are the things that represent the freedoms that we want to bring to our organization and to the people that help us lead our organizations. You're not sharing leadership? Well, I hope you enjoy being the size that you are right now, because unless you're willing to continue to work 60, 70, 80 hours a week, that inspiration is not going to come from someone else. So, not taking all the credit, not taking, but we still have to take all the responsibility, but not taking all the credit and delegating some of the credit and inspiring some of the younger leaders within our organization, that's how we continue to grow. I've found that when I am confronted with an idea that's not so great, if I can ask a few questions and help the person realize it might not be the best thing without demoralizing them, then I'm being a good leader. Those are the kinds of things, because we want people to come to us. And just because we have all the answers doesn't mean we should charm people with that brilliant insight on a regular basis. It's okay to say as a leader, gee, I don't know. What do you think? When maybe you do. But remember, as a leader, as an entrepreneur, as someone that's trying to grow your business, it's not all about you. Helping other people get to that place where they're operating at a different level allows Maslow's hierarchy of entrepreneurial needs to get higher and helps your organization be that much more successful. Don't ever assume that it's a weakness to say, I don't know, what do you think? That's one of the biggest strengths you can have in your emotionally intelligent toolkit as an entrepreneurial leader and someone that knows how to develop great talent. This will free you from a lot of things. You'll be happier. And just as importantly, this helps build a legacy for your organization to help manage itself so that it will be sustainable when you decide you don't want to be there. Does that sound like a good idea to you?
Thank you for joining us for the Death to the Org Chart podcast with Jeffrey DeMure. Be sure to subscribe on Facebook, iTunes, YouTube, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. To get more information about Jeff or to order your copy of the book, Death to the Org Chart, go to dttoc.com. Go create the freedom you were meant for.